So let's face it, it's not always the most technically gifted player that makes it far in this sport. In fact, there are so many non-ball related skills you need to develop in order to become a very good player. So in this video, we're going to be going over the 5 most important non-ball skills in soccer that are going to help you get to the pro level or however high you're aiming right now. That's coming up next. This video is sponsored by Rocket Sports, where you can actually enter to win a free goal from them. I love these goals. They're so easy to assemble, and you're able to use them at a field where you may not have anything else to use, no goals, no equipment. And I love to use them for my own training sessions, whether I'm by myself or with someone else. They're great for team trainings, and the great thing about these goals is they only take a couple of minutes to put up and to take apart, and they also come with their own carrying case so that they're easy to transport to and from the field. Let's get into the video. Hi guys, my name is Dave and this is Simplysoccer, where we are producing videos pretty much every single day at the moment that are going to help you improve your game and stand out on the pitch. So if that sounds good to you, make sure you hit that subscribe button and notification bell, so that you don't miss any of our future uploads that are going to help you to take your game to the next level. Also get my free ebook Game Changer, which you can get for free down below as well, which is going to give you 33 different ways to improve your game and stand out on the pitch, absolutely free. So guys, in this video, I want to be going over the stuff that's not necessarily sometimes the most fun. It's not the most technical, but it is the stuff that's going to make the difference as you try and continually go up levels in this sport. And you really neglect these areas at your own peril and to the detriment of your career. So make sure you are focusing on these as well, because football is not just exactly what you do with the ball, but a lot of it is what you do outside of that. So before we start, guys, I want you to put in the comments, I am improving as a footballer in all areas. And again, by affirming that, by putting that in the comments, taking a little bit of action, that first step, it is going to help you along this journey. It's going to help you to build a little bit of momentum. So please put that down below. That being said, let's get into number 1. We're actually going to go in reverse order and start with number 5. Let's do it. So we're going to start with the biggest one, or at least to me, one of the biggest ones, and often the most neglected area of the game, and it's the mental side of the game. And this includes things like your confidence, your attitude, your approach to the mental aspects of the game, and so many players neglect this side. You know, so many players aren't necessarily deliberately focusing on this. But as you probably already know, and as you've heard me and probably professional players and a ton of other people say, you know, if you neglect the mental side of your game, you're going to, you know, as a byproduct, neglect other areas. Because I don't care how good you are with the ball, I don't care how fit you are, I don't care about any of that stuff. If you don't have confidence, then you're not going to be able to use those tools effectively in a match. Like, your decision-making skills could be amazing in practice. Your, ability one-on-one could be world-class, when you're playing with your friends or in training. But if the mental side of the game isn't strong and you feel the pressure in matches, you're going to forget everything you know about beating someone one-on-one. Your body and brain just aren't going to work in tandem. They're not going to work in combination or together. And so you really need to make sure you're developing the mental side of your game. Now, I have a course called Complete Soccer Confidence that you can check out down below. It'll take you to a page with testimonials and all this other stuff, more info on that product. If you really want to get control of this area of your game, which I highly recommend you do, but you have to be doing something towards the mental side, towards your confidence, because everything, and I mean everything else, falls apart if you don't. Number 4 is soccer intelligence, football intelligence. And you take a look at a lot of players that maybe don't have the same physical attributes as others. Maybe they don't have the quickest feet and all these other different things, but they still become some of the best because their intelligence on the pitch is unmatched. These are the Pirlos, the Scholes, the Xavis and Iniestas of the game. The ones that are just like 2 or 3 moves ahead of every other player. And this comes down to football intelligence. They know when to make a pass and when to dribble. They know when to shoot and do something else. They know when to occupy certain space. They know when a man is on them. They know how to stay calm under pressure. And this all comes from football intelligence. They don't panic. They trust themselves and they know what to do in each and every situation. I mean, have you ever seen a player like Pirlo get out of a situation and you're like, how the hell did he do that? Well, that's his football intelligence. That's him knowing exactly what to do in each situation. That's him knowing 1 or 2 moves ahead of everyone else. Now, this is something that you can develop off the field, but will also be developed experientially on it. So I mean, one of the best ways I think to learn this is to watch players like Pirlo, Xavi, Iniesta, many others who have this high intelligence. Kevin De Bruyne can also be put into that category, and to start asking yourself why they did certain things. And the more you can have a pattern recognition of why a player is doing it, the more you're going to recognize that in your own matches and your own training, and be able to start trying things a little bit differently. But this is definitely an area you want to start focusing on, because to be a highly intelligent player on the pitch sometimes is much more important than being the most technically gifted. And if you're already technically gifted and you combine that with football intelligence, like again, an example of that would be Kevin De Bruyne, incredible technique and technical ability combined with intelligence, well then you get a player like Kevin De Bruyne, world class, one of the best in his role. Number 3, and it should come as no surprise, this one, but it's your strength and conditioning. And actually, this was one of my biggest hindrances, one of my biggest stumbling blocks as a young player, is I was very technically good. I had, good football IQ, all that stuff, make good decisions, but a lot of times I get niggling injuries, I get long-term injuries, or my fitness, strength, and conditioning wasn't where it needed to be. And nothing, and a lot of you may relate to this, nothing is worse than knowing how good a player you are from the actual footballing aspect of it, but your strength, conditioning, and your body holding you back. Now, the good thing is, through the years, we've learned more and more about how your body works, how to train it optimally for football, that you have all this information, training programs, all of these things you can now get in order to really hone in on this area, to really, really develop this area so that you're not getting injured as much, so that you're able to play the full 90 at 100% or close to, so that you're improving your strength, your conditioning, your speed, all of these different things that you need to have in order to be a good modern day footballer. And so this is an area that you really need to focus on as well. Teams have full preseasons pretty much to get them in the condition they need to be in for the season. And so if you're not putting enough time in your strength and conditioning training, you will suffer as a player. Again, a pitfall I really fell into when I was younger. And I can't recommend enough getting a program or something else that is going to help you in this area, because again, the confidence you'll have when you're fit, the advantage you'll have over other players when you've really worked on your strength and conditioning, it can't be understated. So make sure you are working on these things. Again, they don't involve the ball, working on different skills with the ball and all that. It's not as fun maybe, but it's totally necessary to be a top-level player. Speaking of your body, another thing you really need to start looking at and focusing on, this is more nuanced, but this is so important, is injury prevention and recovery. Now, a lot of injury prevention is actually going to be taken care of if you're doing your strength and conditioning properly, because nothing is going to make you more susceptible to injury than not taking care of that part. That nothing's going to make you break down and burn out more than not doing the strength and conditioning and then trying to get into a season and then play normally. It's just not going to work. But by doing strength and conditioning, you are already taking a huge step towards injury prevention. But there are many other things that you can do, things like massage, foam rolling, certain mobility and stretching and things of that nature. You can look at cold and hot therapy, things of that nature. And these are things you should be looking into to, again, give yourself every advantage possible so that you can recover faster and prevent injuries. Recovery is going to be one of the most important things you do, by the way, and a lot of that is going to come down to 2 things: nutrition and proper rest. And what I find is a lot of players they get lured in, they get seduced into this idea of always hustling, grinding, doing 2-a-days every single day, grinding themselves into the dirt. You're not successful unless you're sore, you haven't had a good training session, blah, blah, blah. That's just not the way the body works. The body is actually going to build more as you're resting. Your job is to show up and do the necessary workouts that you're given in a good plan, a good strength and conditioning plan. But when it comes to rest, you need to take it, because you will burn out, you will get injured if you're not allowing your body the time to fully recover and rest properly. And again, nutrition, sleep is going to play a big role in that as well. So make sure you are looking into these areas. You are taking your rest, recovery, and injury prevention seriously, because guys, you could work so hard to get yourself in shape, get to the strength level you need to get to, and then get injured for 6 months, and all of that goes away and you have to rebuild again. And so to make it so you don't have to continually rebuild from the bottom over and over again when it comes to your body, make sure you're recovering, you are resting, and you're doing injury prevention. And number one, I just mentioned, but it's nutrition. And nutrition, guys, is just going to be one of the most important things you do when it comes to non-ball skills, when it comes to your body being able to play at a top level, because it is your fuel. You know, it is what's going to help you recover faster. It's going to allow you to train more if you have your nutrition in a good place, develop muscle in the right way and in the right areas. You know, knowing how to eat specifically to be a top-level footballer is going to be one of the most useful skills you ever learn. But again, this is something that's often neglected because it is a relatively new area. You go back a few decades ago and there wasn't that much emphasis on it. I don't even think in England there was that much emphasis on it until Arsene Wenger came to England with Arsenal, and he started putting so much more emphasis on nutrition, when they ate, what they ate, chewing their food properly so it breaks down faster and gets into their system faster. And so it is a relatively new science in the sense of it being used in professional sports, but we're now finding out how incredibly important it is through more and more research. And so if your nutrition isn't something that is going to be helpful to a professional footballer, then it's something you need to shift. And if your goal is to get to the highest level you can, to be the best player you possibly can be, it is not an area you can overlook or neglect. You need to be eating right. You need to be eating at the right times. You need to know what to eat before matches, after matches, during the week, when you're training, all of these different things. And if you don't, again, it's just going to hold you back. So a skill, and it is a skill, is knowing what to eat, when to eat. And again, there's so many resources available now today so that you can find out what it is. I personally recommend buying a program from someone who deals with sports nutrition. But if you can't do that, there are plenty of free articles, free videos that are going to help you understand what you need to do as well. It's easier to buy something because then you get everything laid out in a plan for you. And it's not me pitching you something. I don't actually have a product like that available, but it is something I would look into. All right, guys, that's going to be it for today's video. Very simple. You know, the 5 non-ball skills, maybe they're not the sexiest skills you're going to need to develop to become a high-level player, but definitely necessary ones you're going to have to develop. And again, like I said in the beginning, you neglect these areas at your own peril, you will break down, you will get injured, you will not become the best player you can be if you're not looking and putting some priority on these areas. I know it's not as fun as going out and practicing your skills and your fundamentals with the ball all the time, but it is the other half of the sport you need to make sure you're getting under control. Thanks again for tuning into the video. I really do appreciate it. Make sure you check out the other 2 videos I put up on screen, and let me know if some other video ideas you'd like me to make in order to help you improve and stand out on the pitch. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video.